Good day everyone, especially to Ma'am Abeliana. For today, we are reporting about late childhood physical development. By the way, I am Charlie Galvan and my partner, Nila Cabajo. We are from PPED 2A. So first, what is late childhood? Late childhood is generally defined as age 9 years old through 12 years old. Up until this point, most children have been growing at fairly predictable rates. Now, all bets are off due to the often wild fluctuations in physical development. One preteen can be a completely different growth based than another child who is the exact same age. The disparity in physical development may continue well into adolescence when growth patterns even out. Considerations. So, the first signs of puberty typically begin to appear in the late childhood. The term puberty is used to define the approximately 5-year period of biological maturation where a boy or a girl becomes able to reproduce. In girls, puberty can begin between the age of 8 and 13 years old, while it usually begins around for ages 10 years old for a boys. Development for girls. The years of late childhood development can be exciting and confusing at first, and even a bit disillusioning. A 12-year-old girl may have a hard time understanding why her 9-year-old neighbor has already developed breast buds while she doesn't have slightest hint of a protruding chest. A preteen as young as 10 years old may experience her first menstrual period. However, the average menstrual period for girls is starting at 12 and a half. For boys, development in late childhood, it may notice an enlargement of testicles and scrotum, possibly as young as age of 9. A boy's penis generally starts to grow around age of 12. Also, around this time, boys will begin. So mag-start nagkatagas ilang pubic hair as well as sa armpit, sa legs, sa chest, and facial hair. For the common of boys and girls, they experience rapid growth spurts in late childhood. Girls begin to sprout between the ages of 9 and 14. Boys' slug begins slightly at the onset but will more than make up for it as time goes on. A boy's growth in height usually occurs between ages 10 and 18. So mag-start kataas ang height sa boys sa in between sa 10 and 18, seeing the most rapid growth typically at around the age of 14. So outlook, the physical development in the late childhood is setting the stage for the upcoming teen years, during which time boys and girls will complete puberty and experience significant mental and cognitive development as they mature into full adulthood. So we have 5 stages of puberty. So first, what is puberty? Puberty is a sequential series of physical changes that lead to sexual maturity. These changes are described by Tanner stages, named after British pediatrician Dr. James Tanner. The stages are based on the development of secondary sex characteristics. So Tanner stage 1. Sa Tanner stage 1, the prepubescent stage with no observable sexual development. But ang stage 2 through 5 are the 4 stages of puberty. Kaysa stage 1, like dili pa makita ang development, baliga start pa lang siya. Tanner stage 2. Sa girls, for most of girls, sexual development begins with breast buds, a small amount of breast tissue under the areola, the area of pigmented skin at the center of the breast. So, gets naman guro kayo nga sa girls, ilang chest, ilang breast mag-start na, and ang katong mga skin nga darker, so mag-improve na siya, na siya progress. So kani ang pagkuan sa girls pag develop silang breast typically begins at the age of 8 to 10. Notably, a girl's growth spurt in height generally begins roughly a year before breast development commences. So ang pagtaas sa girls silang height typically start siya human pag progress ilang breast. In boys, puberty begins with growth of the testicles at the age of 9 to 13 years old. The skin of the scrotum becomes thinner and redder than in prepubescent. So ang sa scrotum sa boys mas nipis siya and reddish daw, and sa before sa nga na pala ko na-reserve, so correct research, di ba? And the growth spurt has not yet begun. So in both boys and girls, a few fine but dark pubic hair becomes noticeable. Adult body odor begins for both sexes. So kaning sa stage 2, ang pubic hair is mas darker na siya, na maka-notice yung darker na mga pubic hair, and ang body odor is for both sexes is start na sad. Tanner stage 3. Female breast development continues to expand. So ga-expand na ang cancer girls sa stage 3, sa Tanner stage 3, beyond the areola with more elevation. So girls kablo naman na, di ba? Mas gakuan yung breast, like paano yun siya, na elevate na dyan. The areola also grows but does not take on separate shape. The peak rate of growth in height is underway during this stage. Vaginal discharge typically begins, so mananing menstruation, and approximately 20% sa girls will experience the onset of menstruation. The hallmark of stage 3 for boys is lengthening of the penis. So sa stage 3, ang penis sa boys is kaya hinay kataas. The testicles and the scrotum also continue to grow. So padayon rag kuha ng grow ang testicles and ang scrotum sa boys. And ejaculation usually begins, including nocturnal ejaculations, commonly known as wet dreams. So kung magdamgo na kag mga kuan diha, mga wet dreams, mga unsa pa diya nga maka-arouse sa imuha, mao na siya. Boys may become fertile during this stage of puberty. So kani nga stage sa boys ga-start na magka-fertile, like pwede na ka maka-buros or unsa maka-reproduce. And the growth spurt in height for boys generally begins during this stage. So ang height sa boys hinihini niyo ka progress, so makita na jud ang pagka-progress. Moderate amounts of coarse, darkly pigmented pubic hair are seen in the genital area of both girls and boys. So darker na ang pubic hair, mas nagdaghan na siya compared sa Tanner stage 2. Is typically limited to the midline stage of development. So for the Tanner stage 4 and 5, Nila will continue to report. Thank you.
Hi guys, I am Nyala G. Kabahog. So, I'm gonna continue what Charles Regal Van discussed. Let's go to Tanner stage 4. In this stage, female breast and areola growth continues, and separate amount of tissue elevates the areola above the rest of the breast. Roughly, 56% of adolescent girls experience the onset of menstruation during this stage. The peak rate of growth typically ends for female in this stage. So, diri nga stage, guys, is diri na gid start og pamukol ang mga babae, di ba? Ingon man nila sa una kay pamukol man na siya kanang mag di ba sa una wala man gid taga bra, wala man gid taga BB bra. So diri nga stage is sa stage 4 is dira na gid mamukol atong mga breast starting sa murag growing up sa atong body, changes sa atong body. Mo na siya ang stage 4. Sa tanner stage 4 din po is ang mga girls is diha na pud ga start og menstruation. Diha na ta mag-start og ay dalaga na gid ta kay gidugo na ta. Like that, nakay nga na ba mo sa una, nakahuna-una ba mo nga, ay dalaga na gid ko, kay gidugo na ko. So, be careful kung naano mo sa stage 4, kay dira na dapit nga time ang atong mga menstruation, o dira na gid ta dapat nga mag-amping sa atong self, mga girls. For boys, is the penis growth in length and circumference. The testicle and the scrotum continue to grow, and the skin of the scrotum darkens. Sperm production is present. The male voice typically begins to deepen during this stage. The pubic hair appears adult-like for both boys and girls, with the exception that it does not yet extend to the inner thigh. So, diri siya nga stage is, ang boys daw, kundo is, mag-start na o grow ang iyang penis. Diha na siya. Murag dili naman siguro ang stage nga dapat na siya tulion. Dira na siya murag gadako nga ga-enlarge na ang penis sa ato ang mga boys. So, ang diri pud nga stage is diri na pud ga-start ang stages sa mga pubic hairs. Starting to grow the pubic hairs of us. Not only sa mga diri sa mga suok natos, mga suok dira magsugod na gid daw ang pubic hair. Sa stage 4 didto na ang mga changes of voice, growing up of penis, growing up a breast, then diha na pud ta magkaroon ng mga little pubic hairs. Let's go to stage number 5. The female breasts reach full adult size. The breast and areola follow the same contour, and the nipple now projects from the areola. The female genitalia reach their mature adult size and appearance. So, during stage 5 is ang female is, ang breast daw nila is full size na daw as an adult. Oo. Murag, klaro na gid kay siya. Kung dili ka mag-bra, dili ka baby bra, klaro na gid siya nga, uy, babae jud ka kay na kay breast na. Yes, it is. Tapos, diha na pod ga, genital ang reach ang mature adult size and appearance sa girl. Murag dira na sila kanang mag-curva na ilang body, dira na nga mga stages. The next is the male genital also reach adult size. The appearance, the growth spurt in high begins to slow. This is the stage when facial hair usually appears. Sa mga boys pod is dira na pod ga start ang ilahang mga ball bones. Like for example sa mga legs nila, di ba baga kay na ilaha, ang others baga kay ilahang mga ball bones, and facial diri ilang bangas diri mga diri nila og diri ga start na daw og panubo. The pubic hair in both male and females becomes adult in appearance and distribution, including extensions to their inner thighs. On average, the time from the onset to completion of puberty is 4 years for females and 3 years for males. So, ang compilation of puberty daw is more 4 for female is 4 years and sa boys naman is 3 years. Dira na gid daw magsugod ang adulting of appearance sa ilahang body. Diha na tong mga full size of breast, full size of genitalia sa mga naanap sa mga girls and boys. The effects of puberty. Puberty is the time during which adolescents develop sexual maturity. It can be confusing and awkward time for your child. The age at which puberty started different from person to person, which puberty typically affecting girls sooner, at around age 11. Boys typically start puberty around the age of 12. State that American Academy of Family Physicians. As puberty progresses, your body experiences many changes which vary depending in your gender. Like for example, sa boys, na itong mga changes, ilang voice, ilang mga pubic hairs, ilang mga facial pubic hairs, atong mga pubic hairs sa mga kasingit-singitan, mauna na siya ang mga progress sa atoang body. Yes, mga effects sa puberty to siya. Then, ang mga diripod sa puberty is, diri na pod ka-develop ang adolescent develop sexual maturity. Diri na mag-start ang katong na mga crush. Uy, crush na ako si mga cheka nga mga crush diha. Nanay mga feelings, mga crush ka ingana. Diha na nagsugod ang sexual maturity. Ay, kabalo na sila nga, ay, babae ka, ay, lalaki ka, ay, crush di ka, ay, sana all na crush. Charot lang. Dira na magsugod ang sexual maturity sa mga girls and boys. So, next is sexual characteristics. One of the most noticeable effects of puberty is the changes in sexual characteristics. Mauna ni sila ang mga effects ni sila sa puberty. Effects of puberty ni sila. The first is sexual characteristics. One of the most noticeable effects of puberty is the changes in sexual characteristics, which usually starts at around 11 to 12. For girls, this includes the growing of the breast in order to later support nursing a child. In boys, the testicle growth in size and drop further from the body. And the penis also grows in both length and width. Diri nga sexual character is like for dito sa full size of breast nga adult na gid ka. Then ang boys is ang ilang penis nga full size of length and width. Next is the hair growth. Yes, nana siya dito sa itong discussion gaina dito sa stage 4 and 5. Yes, naanagid na hair growth. Mao na siyang mga effects of puberty. During puberty, hair growth occurs on the other areas of the body besides the heads, arms, and legs. Yes, diri sa atong dagway, diri sa ilok, sa atong mga private parts na anatay pubic hair. For both preteens, boys and girls, hair begins to grow in their groin areas as well as the armpits and legs. Diri sa mga kasingit-singitan natin o sa mga legs natin, naatay mga balhibutan. Awagan ni diha. Na-adjud. Then sa boys may also start to notice more facial hair growth. Although this is not necessarily limited to boys alone. Girls may also see facial hair growth, although usually less coarse and light in color. Yes, facial hair growth sa boys is tong diri bangas nila. Baga ilahang bangas, baga diri katong diri ug diri, di ba makita niyo sa mga boys? Ang other girls is ganahan sila bangas nga lalaki, di ba? Mao na sila ang mga facial hair growth. Sa mga babae pod is na sila facial hair growth pero lighter lang siya. Kabalo ka ng mga diri na to, girls, naan na diha, nagamay kaayo mo na siya ang facial na kana dayong mga balhibo din na to sa mga diri na to, guys. Naan na diha. The Menstruation for girls. For girls, puberty typically marks the beginning of menstruation. Menstruation, commonly called a period, is the process in which a girl starts ovulating. Diri na ta mag-start og menstruation, girls, og makaingon na gid tag dalaga na ta. Ay, charot lang. Dalaga nga walay buot, charot lang bitaw. During this process, an egg is released from the ovaries, and the increase of hormones creates excess tissues build up in the uterus. When the egg is not fertilized, the body slot the eggs and the excess tissues lining through the vagina. This process happens every month through the rest of puberty and into the adult years, and it generally starts between the age 2, 10, 14, according to Midline Plus. 10 and 14 according to Midline Plus. Diri na mag-start ang menstruation sa ages to 10 and 14. Diri na kita Diri sa another effects of puberty is the voice change. Sa voice change gyapon ni sa voice gini siya particularly. Through this process, the voice may crack as the body adjusts to the deeper tone of voice. This cracking is typically temporary until the final lower pitch is reached. So, the read daw is kanang makrack daw ang imong voice. Ang, di ba, ang tingog gid sa mga lalaki, gamay pa sila, is so, tagsing kayo. When they are growing, maabot lagi daw nila ang lower pitch. Tungod man siguro na silang Adam's apple. Murag anak man yata akong pasabot anak. Tungod na sa gadako sila they become adults. Ang ilang tingog ga change pod. Ga lower pitch na siya. Hangtod nga kung lower pitch is reach na ka, didto na dayon siya nga adult na gid siya. Ano na siya. Next is acne. Yes, acne. This is the common effects of puberty. The acne. Yes. So, acne is also a common effect of puberty that occurs during the preteen and teenage years. The hormones that are released by the body during the process not only help the body mature, but also cause the sebaceous glands to produce more sebum oil, states the American Academy of Dermatology. This excess oil can combine with dead skin cells in your follicle to form soft sludge called comedones, more commonly known as blackheads and whiteheads. These comedones may then progress into more inflammatory form of acne, such as papules or pustules, or in severe case, acne system or noodles. Basta noodles. So, yes, gastart na taog acne diri nga mga stages kay ako nag-acne ko is around grade 6. Grade 6 o grade 6. There is a forehead. Very gid siya nag-start. Abi na ko bungang singot. Kay bungang singot man daw ingon nila is mauna dito ang start sa adolescence. Ang ato ang acne. Yes, kay tungod sa mga oily skin, mga abog, tungod nga ga-oily atong face is tungod sa acne. Diha magtubo ang acne sa tuang mga face. Oh my God. Mga around grade 8 na dahin ko, dito na dahin siya nag-worst. Ako ang face. Diyan na to nag-worst. So, these are the effects of puberty, sexual characteristics, hair growth, menstruation, voice change, and acne. So, that would be all, and thank you for listening to us, and goodbye. Keep safe always.